I love my Massey Ferguson. Now, I had two problems with it. If this video helps one person, then that'll make me feel good. I'm going to tell you about it. I'll try not to go down any rabbit trails and try to get to the point. Alright, I'm first going to show you some numbers on this. Now, on the hood it's got Ferguson right there. Alright. Down underneath the distributor, right there, underneath the distributor, it's got Z129 Albert 600. And then to the right of that is K8Z, I think. Alright, now, right above the coil is a plate that says Harry Ferguson, made in Detroit. It does not give a year. Alright, let's move right along. Alright, now on the side right here it says Ferguson 30. Ferguson 30. In front of the steering wheel, right there, it was chiseled off. I believe this tractor come from Arkansas, and I believe at one time it was stolen, and that's why the serial number plate was chiseled off. They tell me that back in the 50s they used these tractors to run their water pumps and on the farm, and of course it was easy for the thieves to steal them. And all right, now we're gonna go right on around. I love my swing blade. All right, now on this side, right underneath the gear shift on the right hand side is HF. Underneath that is TO-3006. Underneath that is a Q. Alright, to the left of that is vertical 928-boy B. And then here again on the side is Ferguson 30. I'm told that this motor, I'm told it's a Massey, it's cold. Massey Ferguson 30. Alright, now to get to my problems. I bought this tractor 40 years ago, and I used it in my bee yards to bush hog a new bee yard and bush hog around my bees. And so I love it. Man, has it worked for me. I've done very little to it in 40 years. I put a tailpipe on it, 4 tires, but I've gone through recently 7 starters. Okay, the last 6 really, a place in Memphis, I went up there and bought a starter, and my 12 volt would burn it up. I mean, fast. I take it back, he give me another one. I finally asked him for a refund, and now a lot of the men on golly, man, I wish enthusiast, Ferguson Enthusiast North America. They have really, several of the men have really been kind to try to help me. And so, Barry Burgess told me to go on eBay, and this item number right here, 1109457, and that's what this starter is. I put it on there. It's a 12-volt starter, and let me tell you, it's wonderful. I wish I'd have done this years ago. Another man, and I don't remember his name, he told me to buy these alt cables, 3 of them, and made in USA, $60 for 3 cables. And the only thing there, I don't know if a smaller gauge, just a little bit smaller, they're extremely stiff. But anyhow, all right, so I told you about my starter. Well, my most recent problem has been I couldn't get it. The starter worked fine, but I couldn't get it to the motor, the engine to start, to run. And boy, several of the men, went through all the basics, about top dead center. And let me tell you something I done. Now, I'm at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to you guys that knows about this Massey Ferguson. I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. I am not an expert, but I'm going to tell you what I did. They told me how to find top dead center, and so even with the number 1 plug out, or all 4 of them out, I'm pushing 80, I couldn't get down there and turn the motor over with that wrench, and so I'd use a starter. Well, they told me to put my finger in number 1 hole, did that. When it blows it out, that piston has already gone past top dead center and gone back down in the oil. And so here's what I did, and it really helped me. I cut this foam, 2 pieces of foam like this right here. It's really fairly soft, and I rounded off one end. I took all 4 spark plugs out, and I pushed this one in number 1 hole, and the second one in number 4 hole. Then I turned it over with my starter, and after a few times I realized that it blew the foam out of number 4, and then about a second later it blew it out of number 1. So when it blew it out of number 4, I stopped, and then number 1 was real close to top dead center, real close. And so I've been telling the men I still couldn't get it started, and this is embarrassing to tell you. It's really embarrassing. So I've been out here in the cold working, trying to figure it out, and several of the men were telling me all the basics, what to do. Well, let me tell you, the reason I didn't check the gas is because this filter has always been full. But a couple hours ago, I got my little stick out that I checked my gas with, and I put it down in the gas tank, pulled it out, and it's bone dry. I put a few gallons of gas in there, start right up. You just don't know the grief I've gone through because the tank was empty, but there was gas in the bowl. But now it runs and purrs like a kitten, and Doesn't that sound sweet? Oh, that sounds sweet. Alright. I reckon that's it. And so who knows, maybe that might help one person, and like I say, I'm not an expert. Now I'm going to sit down here on this front wheel, and y'all can hang up if you don't want to listen to this, but if some of y'all are church people, you'll kind of appreciate this. But we had two men in our church die recently. One of them was a cab driver, and the other one was a preacher. So when they got to the gate, St. Peter, he took the cab driver in and showed him his mansion. Oh, it was beautiful. It was really pretty. I mean, top of the line. Well, he come back and got the preacher and took him in, and it wasn't a mansion at all. Just, kind of mediocre. And the preacher said, St. Peter said, why are you letting that cab driver, you gave him a mansion, but you just given me just a common house? And St. Peter said, well, when you preached, all the folks in the congregation went to sleep. But when the cab driver, when he was driving, they was all praying. Okay. All right. Y'all have a good one.